Dark Souls 2 with daggers went really interesting. Definitely some highs, definitely some lows, but that's over and we return once more to Dark Souls 3 as Unkindled Ash. This game was easily the hardest game in my sorcery challenge, with whole hours of boss attempts, several hours of deleted footage because it wasn't worth keeping. Let's hope daggers handle this game just a little bit better. Alright, Knives is here for her penultimate outing. Unlike Dark Souls 2, there is no question on starting class. Thief, because it starts with the very good bandit knife. Bleed is back and it's okay-ish as always. Into the first fight, and Gundyr is about as good as ever. The increased pace of combat does mesh really well with daggers though. Maybe this won't be terrible. Into Firelink, I grab a catalyst from the merchant for later, and it's into the high wall of Lothric. Grab the key to Grey Rat's cell, because I both remembered that it exists and where it is. Quick Estus Shard, and it's already into the second boss, Vort. Vort is always a weirdly tricky boss for me. He has a lot of aggressive moves, and his stupid charge attack is really annoying. Also, the introduction of the Frostbite status is kind of annoying. Daggers actually do great here though. He misses a surprising number of attacks without me even having to actually dodge them. Turns out his moveset is really hit or miss. Crap, that was not actually supposed to be a pun. Then recruit Yol, who is going to sell us our first non-consumable weapon buff, Magic Weapon. It once more scales off intelligence, so we have another way to tweak our damage. Now it's time to clear out the undead bird. Settlement. Sorry, how could I possibly have confused these two areas? Meet up with Onion Friend and help him kill a fire demon again. And the fight is really quick. Daggers seem to actually deal pretty good damage in this game. Can't wait for that to drop off. Some more chatting with Onion Knight because I really need to not mess up the entirety of his quest again. I don't have Pestilent Mist to save me this time. Then befriend the Giant Archer, so I don't have to worry about his Great Bow. Deal with the Hodrick invasion on the way to Greatwood. Hodrick has 2 healing flasks. Scam. Then time to try Greatwood. I know for certain some of the soul transposition items will be useful in this run, and while I could save this fight for later, I'm sure it will be fine. And it is! Greatwood is, shockingly, much easier to kill when you have a weapon instead of free aiming sorceries. It's also easier when you remember where all his pustules are. Greatwood goes down, and his second phase is barely notable. That's one roadblock from my sorcery run knocked down without any issue. Road of Sacrifice time. Kill this bandit to grab the bandit outfit, then pick up the bandit twin daggers. Twin daggers are still daggers, and I'm expecting great things out of these. Plus, the fast paired weapon set, when buffed, should hopefully be good and put power stance daggers from DS2 to shame. Crystal Sage was a huge pain with sorcery because of their high magic resistance, but Bandit Knife's bleed, combined with a fire resin, completely bypasses his defenses. I'm dealing so much damage so quickly, he almost dies before he can summon any duplicates. A quick slash later and he goes down. It feels so nice for an easy fight to actually be easy for a change. Seriously, sorcery only warped my expectations for how some of these fights will go. So, Crystal Sage is dead. It's time to hop into the next area, and there is a lot going on. In Farron, we light the requisite 3 torches to open the door to the Watchers. They're not our next target, but might as well since I'm already here. Fight Big Booty up on the bridge. Gives us a nice soul to get some levels, or a nice ring through soul transposition. Then into the Cathedral of the Deep to get to the Deacons. Try to find patches in the stupid cathedral, because I need Onion Knight's armor from him to progress that quest, and I cannot mess that up twice in a row. I don't have missed this time. I need Onion Knight. Some frantic Googling, and it sounds like the conditions to actually get patches to show up in the cathedral are really weird, and why would you do that? I don't think I've ever actually run into him here, but last time he also wouldn't show up in Firelink Shrine. Okay, well, he won't show up in Firelink until the Deacons are dead, I think. So let's kill them real quick and hope I don't have to reset the whole run. Deacons are easy as ever. Bandit Knife and Magic Weapon combined mean I can run in, slash a bunch, and get out. Dagger's attack speed in this game is great, especially because the damage is still really good. And once the main boy shows up, it's just run in to get some slashes, run out, and repeat until the Deacons fall. Alright, back to Firelink and up onto the bridge. If Patches is going to be here, it'll be when I ride this elevator. Never been so happy to hear a door lock behind me. Hi Patches, I'm thrilled to see you. Now give me Onion Knight armor. Onion armor dropped down a well, and we are back on track. I already lit the 3 torches, so it's just a quick run to unlock the shortcut. Then a quick sprint to the Abyss Watchers. These were another huge roadblock in my sorcery playthrough. The first attempt against them goes okay, but not great. My damage and speed are good, but I need to be more careful with my actual attacks. Wait, you can backstab in Phase 1? That's really weird. And wow, they really need to do a better job with this camera. A boss-breaking lock-on is real bad design. Switch to the Twin Daggers for the second attempt, which I probably should have done sooner. Bleed is nice, Twin Daggers are better, usually. The damage with Magic Weapon and the sheer speed of my attacks are great. It gets a little tight, and I'm really bad at judging the range on the fire effects he gets on his attacks in Phase 2, but I take the win. Time for the Catacombs of Karthus. This area is pretty forgettable, except it has one very shiny item that we need, the Karthus Pyromancy Tome. Give this to our Pyromancy teacher and we can learn Karthus Flame Arc, the best weapon buff in the game. Or, if not best, at least best for the minimal investment it requires. Seriously, if you haven't, go get Karthus Flame Arc. Forgettable area done, we touch the Skull Goblet and it's time to fight Wolnir. Wolnir is a simple fight as ever. Just buff my Twin Daggers and go to town on his shiny bracelets. He tries to fight back, but my damage must be really good, because his gauntlets break too fast for him to really do anything. Wait, doesn't Wolnir have ads? Sir, where are your skeletons? They never even showed up. Were they scared? I don't think that's ever happened before. Down to the Smoldering Lake. Again, this area is fully optional, but I want the Titanite that can be found here so I can upgrade my Bandit Dagger and my Twin Dagger. Okay, this Crystal Lizard is getting on my last nerve. Sir, that's a wall. Into the rest of Smoldering Lake, and I grab a bunch of Titanite. This area is super annoying, and I don't really remember my way through, but the Titanite really is worth it. Then Old Demon King. He actually does take a couple tries. He's kind of slow, but he has some big hits and some big explosions. He also has some attacks with too many particle effects, and I can't see anything. But my dagger damage just refuses to drop off. Time for a vacation in Irithyll, a place that is universally hostile. Seriously, I think this may be one of the toughest areas in the game. The Spinner Frost people are a pain, the dogs are dogs in a FromSoft title, and there's a bunch of invisible enemies just running around. Fortunately, the damage of my Twin Daggers, combined with the stance pressure they have, is enough to fight most enemies here without too much difficulty. Then it's into Pontiff Suliban. This fight is a really interesting one. I feel like every time I fight him, he kicks my butt a couple times, then once I remember the timing of his moves, I wreck him. And this time is no different. His sword strikes follow a very particular cadence that it takes a few tries to remember, but once you get that down, you can just dance around him. His Shadow Summon in Phase 2 complicates things, essentially doubling every attack. I initially try using the Bandit Dagger to take advantage of bleed procs, but it means my damage just isn't quite what it needs to be. Switch to the Twin Daggers and that does some work, especially with the Flame Arc. I can very nearly kill the Shadow before Pontiff is even done summoning it. Except I don't even bother killing it because Pontiff is so low on health at this point. Yeah, Twin Daggers are definitely the way to go. Kind of sad that the bandit knife has fallen off so much. At least fallen off in comparison to the twin daggers. Pontiff dead, we detour to the dungeon, and we have a friend here in need of our help. It's kind of funny, but I only really remember the way through this area, not any of the side paths. So I need to just sort of look around to find Onion Knight. Find where Logan has gone mad and kill him real quick. He doesn't actually have anything we want, but he is marginally in my way, and now I finally have some footage of actually killing him. Okay, I'm lost. Where is Onion Knight? Google where Onion Knight is. Oh, right by where I killed Logan. Just gotta jump through this window. Hi, Onion Knight. I don't have the key. I thought No, wait, that's the key to Carla's cell. Crap. Where is the key? Oh, back by the rats. Okay, grab the key, free Onion Knight, and I get Titanite Slab, which is nice. Quick drop into the Profane Capital. There is another route through here, but I don't care about any of the items in this area, and we arrive at the fog door for Yorm, the boss I'm most nervous about. See, this fight is a gimmick fight, like the Storm King before him. There is a sword in the arena that deals a huge amount of damage to Yorm, but I can't use it, because it is not a dagger. Storm King I justified using the gimmick weapon because you literally can't fight Storm King with daggers. But Yorm you can, it just takes forever, because he has huge damage resistance on his legs, the only place I can hit because of Dagger's short range, and he has almost 28,000 health. For comparison, if you combine the Twin Prince's HP, including both of Lorien's hit bars, it's only 13,500. So Onion Knight is crucial because he has a sword of his own. I just need to keep aggro off him or he will die. And if he dies in this fight, that's it. He won't respawn, and it's up to me to slowly chip away at this boss. Thankfully, it turns out to be really easy to attract Yorm's attention. He doesn't seem to care about damage, just who hit him most recently. And my dagger's quick attack speed makes it very easy to get in, get a few hits, and get out so I can attract his attention. It doesn't take very long, but it is very, very stressful. And Onion Knight can bring down his old friend. Good job, Sigurd. Take a rest. Next, it's time to take down the Dancer a bit early. Only reason I did that is because I didn't have a ton of time to record, after taking a few days off to finish up another video. And that time off shows. Takes a couple tries to get back into it, and a couple armor changes. Human Pine Resin is better than my other weapon buffs for the dark damage it gives that she is weak to. Because this is apparently the one place where a boss is resistant to magic, but weak to dark. Neat. I also switched to the Bandit Dagger to take advantage of the bleed procs. Not sure if that made any actual difference, or if I just need to get warmed back up. But the Dancer goes down shortly after. Dancer dead, and it's time for Aldrich. Back to the Pontiff's bonfire and into the area beyond. I've tried to get through here as fast as possible. I'm still embered from the Dancer fight, and this area is, or at least was, a big PvP hotspot. Except I do get invaded because I took a wrong jump, and the invasion is really weird. It looks like they are initially trying to stop me with their shield and shield bashing me. I assume so the Silver Knights can kill me, but I managed to dodge roll past them to the next area, and then the invaders starts guiding me, I think? Which I don't need. This area is pretty easy to run through, and I've been through here several times, but I'm just sort of flabbergasted. They guide me to the front door controls, then brandish a torch to scare away the spider guy. I'm just really unclear what's happening here. I just go ahead and head into the Aldrich fight. I only have 2 Estus because I couldn't rest at the bonfire, but that's okay. Although I am actually kind of bummed I only had 2 Estus, because I definitely could have one-tried this fight. Aldrich's attacks are weird, but not too difficult to dodge, and seem to have huge recovery times on them. His magic is kind of annoying, but it isn't too bad to dodge, other than the arrow attack that chases you around the arena, but my damage is still good enough to bring him down pretty quickly. Back to Lothric Castle proper. Down the elevator to the King's Garden to get some Titanite chunks to keep upgrading my dagger. I may try Osiris later, would be good to see how that fight goes when I'm not limited to magic damage. Up through the castle and it's mostly fine. I can just run past most enemies. Killing this dragon foot tumor thing is actually really hard with a melee weapon. I assume that is why there are so many hollows throwing fire bombs, and they give you like 50 in this area. And it's time for Dragon Slayer. This wasn't the worst fight in Sorcery Only, but it definitely wasn't the easiest. He attacks fast, has a shield, and the fight turns into a bullet hell in Phase 2. And a quick check says he's resistant to all my attacks, so not great. But the fight goes okay. I don't dodge very well, and nearly die at one point because I forgot his charged attack sends out a blade beam, but the sheer damage of my twin daggers with Karthus Flame Arc means that I don't have to survive very long, and this boss goes down. Next fight should be the Twin Princes, but I want some extra souls to leverage my damage up. So I head down to Osiris and kill him pretty easy, thanks to gold pine resin, taking advantage of his weakness to lightning. And I forgot to hit record. So you'll have to imagine how cool that fight looked in your head, dear viewer. Well, might as well take down Gundyr so I can get some souls and have a place to put this tangent. I really love Gundyr's updated moveset in this fight. It's a very cool rehash where he has the same attacks as in the first boss in the game, but new and improved combos to add onto it. Very cool way to reuse a boss. I mean, it's easy, because my damage is so good, and I know most of his moveset, but 10 out of 10 on reusing a boss. Back into the archives, I deal enough damage to kill the Crystal Sage, a spawn location early, which is nice. Then grab Greyrat's ashes. Thanks, buddy. This unlocks nothing but trash. To the upper level, and it's time. Time for the twins. This fight was hard in Sorcery Only. It took hours, and literally dozens of attempts. And with daggers? It's a one-shot. Seriously, daggers are so busted in this game. My damage is huge, my speed is bonkers, Karthus Flame Arc adds a decent chunk of damage, and some easy dodges in Phase 1 gets me to Phase 2. Lothric getting involved means spell projectiles, but it also means less teleporting and more lore walking, making the sword attacks much easier to dodge. And then the damage against Lothric is so much better. No Pestilent Mist for me. He's weak to all physical attacks. So while I deal good damage to Lorien, I deal great damage to Lothric. Lorien goes down, and while Lothric tries to revive his brother, he simply doesn't have the HP to survive my twin daggers long enough to do so. That fight was such a relief. Hours of fighting a boss reduced to a single, pretty one-sided attempt. Dagger's good, it turns out. Give some Firekeeper eyes to our Firekeeper because I'd like the light to fade, then place the lords upon their thrones to open the way to the kiln of the first flame. Soul of Cinder takes a few tries. It really shouldn't have, but the variety of his moveset means I don't remember it as well as some of the other bosses. But my daggers cut too quick and too deep for it to make too much of a difference, and gold pine resin lets me take advantage of his weakness to cut him down to size. The fight's over with very little fanfare. Summon the Firekeeper to extinguish the flame, and let the world fall into darkness. Well, that sure was a run. I've never experimented with daggers in Dark Souls 3, so I really didn't know what to expect. But that was a really good showing. Daggers kick butt in this game, and they mesh really well with the increased speed of combat Dark Souls 3 operates in. And there are so many affordable weapon buffs to really let you target enemy weaknesses. I didn't even talk about Blessed Weapon or Frozen Weapon, since I didn't use them, but then you have a wide variety of resins to give you free buffs. Let's hope we can take some of this success and power into next week's video. Elden Ring with only daggers.